things like the Tor network, you know, which is also being discussed, let's say, when it comes to data privacy, so that you basically hide yourself in the internet and that you are able to access web pages and to review, let's say, like this, your identity in the internet once you need it. So without this kind of network, I wouldn't be able to create such a, let's say, scanning algorithm. You know, one piece to another comes together and so on. And I think this is, yeah. Anyway, this is what you learn when you especially when you have a project like this, you come across a lot of different, let's say, programming methods or ideas.
Yeah.
So how much time do we have left? How does it work?
Yeah, maybe you want to ask something to Cristina, or Cristina is asking something to you, or is there another question from the audience? No, I think so. Just at the moment.
I had an interesting like when you said, like, you know, the like two thoughts I had about the maps. You said, like, I was, because you said, of course, right? I mean, Europe is not the center of the world, and I think still it's actually interesting that we are still, for example, also Google is using it, that they are still using the Mercator projection, right, which is like a super central Europe point of view. And what is also interesting, as you said, like that, you know, we have different time zones around the globe. Or no, we have different times, let's say, like this, right, clockwise. But when you have a look at the time zones, I think that's also super interesting, like how they are being drawn, so with regards to the country borders. And, you know, this is like where you see, okay, that's definitely like a political time zone and not really like the biological time. We are basically into it, right? Which is like insane, like when you have a look at specific countries, like how those timelines are being drawn.
Yeah, North Korea, for instance, it's a different time, and also not just 1 hour, 1 hour, a few minutes, I don't remember. And also Venezuela. Yeah, although the Earth is very physical thing, politically speaking, the time is being totally adapted. So, and also Greenwich, the 0 point, the starting point is coming from British and all those weird things.
And a part of that, I think, even the maps you researched via Tor, which is also used, I think, since 15, 20 years or something as a data protection tool. But even the maps you research might be different in 2-3 months when you do it again. So what I'm wondering, for example, what could also be interesting, that you might check that again, or that you might, for example, could you think about repeating your performance, which you did in Berlin with a red wagon? Because that would be very interesting, maybe to check how all these elements work later. Maybe you also know experiments from James Bridle, who worked with the auto electronic cars which can't cross over the white lines or something. No? So this is super interesting. If this, maybe the systems learn, and if you do that 2 or 3 times, then Google knows that you are kidding it or something. So this could be a strong competition also.
I mean, there are different methods to do that. I mean, that is really like, this is, for example, also, I think, like the process of, you know, I think it's also the process of a hacker on the one hand, but also, let's say, as an artist, like how you tell the story. I mean, it's, for me, a really, let's say, important approach. Like, I would like to tell the story as easy as it is for, let's say, people who are not so familiar with these technologies. And maybe just to give you another idea, right? Because imagine you have 99 smartphones in a room. You can actually also fake the GPS coordinates of those smartphones just by placing, let's say, a fake GPS antenna in this room. So all the smartphones, they're getting, let's say, fake GPS data. So that means you can actually create virtual traffic around the globe within or just from one place. So that's basically another approach. But the thing was that I was thinking about this and I thought like, okay, no, I don't want to do this because it's actually too technical, it's too complicated to understand, and I would like to reach the people which are not so familiar with this. So that's the thing, you know, what what's super important as well, like for me as an let's say tech somehow artist. And yeah, but you're right. I mean, just also another example, like this Google Maps borders thing. Like when you have a look at my webpage, I mean, I published this work like 3 years ago, and everything was interactable. So basically, you had like an interactive map, and you could zoom in and zoom out and scroll and click for each map. And after I published the Google Maps hacks, suddenly this API request, so-called, or this kind of method didn't work anymore. So that means that probably some of those Google developers, they had a look at my webpage and they found out, let's say, this kind of fishy way I exited their maps, and they closed it basically. So this work wasn't working after I published the other work. Luckily enough, I did some screenshots, but that's, for example, also interesting part of, you know, when you're working with data, and let's say if you have some kind of interactive thing, let's say on your web page, that it might be possible it will work on the one day, but on the next day will not work because they're changing their whatever data privacy access or whatever.
That is what because I also wanted to mention at the beginning when you said every printed map is not any more actual when it is printed, but this is the funny thing. This is also the same problem, I think, with digital or data maps at the moment. No? Yeah, I would say thank you so much, you both. Because I think it's a really fantastic coincidence that we have such fantastic, interesting shows from two artists which are dealing with it at the same time in Chemnitz, in the museum. I think this is also not normal, and that you are both now on the screens here at the POCHEN Festival. Thank you so much. I really recommend everybody to visit the shows because it's really, really tough. Christina's show is up the end of only October. Yours is longer, no? I think up to the midst of December or something, Simon? Yeah, no? It's a little bit longer. So please visit the shows. It's really fantastic. We just gave a short snap and ideas of the two artists. And I give it over to Lucia maybe now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, three. I just I put my camera, I switched it off because then it looked much nicer with the three of you. And thanks a lot for the discussion, for the for the showing of your art. I think it was very, very deep and very, very good for us because, as I mentioned in the beginning, the POCHEN Symposium is a kind of a searching for the theme, and it's about looking in which way could the artwork be be made, or in which kind of talks should we make in the festival next year. So I think that was very great, and I thank, of course, the three of you and everybody who was listening and who was watching and asking questions. Thanks for that. I put the link for your website, Simon, on the chat for anybody who was interested in that, what you mentioned at last. And yes, I'm very happy that it worked quite good, and I think we recorded it, so if anybody would like to watch it again, that should be possible afterwards. And yes, I just have to announce one thing. If you're at Chemnitz right now, in about 15 minutes there will be a cooking show at the open space. It's called Catch Up Your Database, and I think it will be quite nice. So just a very short advertisement. It's, of course, part of the POCHEN Symposium. And if you like to go there, just, yes, maybe see you there. And yes, thanks for being here with us. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your input, and have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, you all. Bye, Simon. Bye, Cristina.
Yes, bye.
Bye, Lucia.